Diving for Glory, episode 12.
Diving. 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 Diving.
What do you think it's called? Diving.
Diving. From glory. Diving. Diving. From glory. Diving. Glory.
Buenos noches, Defogistas. Episode 12, Season 2. I'm your host, the invaluable, infallible, always accountable Mr. Pep Corciola. And my co-host, Sir Solomon. What up?
Yep.
Yo, so this week, Liverpool puts their unbeaten record up against the undefeated in 12 straight matches Arsenal. We have second place Alaves heading out to Eibar. Montpellier hosting Marseille, and a little Italian action, man. Fiorentina, Roma. Also, big league reviews, EPL review, a little talk about a DC United playoff experience, and Dortmund club profile. Diving for Glory continues the enhancement, so please, not the male enhancement, just regular enhancement. So please tune in as we will be posting every Monday on iTunes, YouTube, and divingforglory.com. Also hitting you with Thursday episodes following Champions League, and that's this week. So check us on Thursday. You can also find us on Twitter at Diving for Glory and Facebook as well. Follow, #subscribe, like, retweet, and if you listen and you like us and you love us, hit us up, iTunes, give us them 5 stizzies, please. Alright, man. Just a cup. Jerseys tucked. Boots laced. Let's go. Word. So, I'm going to start it off with two teams on a hell of a tear in the English Premier League, and that is Arsenal and Liverpool. And my phone shouldn't be beeping like that, so I'll turn those off and we will get on with it. Talk about it, Sir Solomon.
I like this game because it earned me $5.
$5.
Yeah, I'm a rich man because I said last week that Liverpool would not be just getting 3 points in the bag, and they did not. In fact, Arsenal were up for this game, and a few interesting things. One, I was really worried about their left back / right back situation with Bellerin and Nacho Monreal being injured. Bellerin came back, and the tank Kolasinac had to play left back. I thought that would be an issue. It was not that much of an issue, because in the middle of the field they had Lucas Torreira and Granit Xhaka in a 4-2-3-1, and even though technically that should mean that the 3-man midfield of James Milner, Fabinho, and Jorginho Wijnaldum could overpower them, the way those two cats played really seemed to wreck a lot of the Liverpool football momentum, and they couldn't get through that, and that caused problems throughout the game.
Liverpool hit the woodwork twice, had a goal taken back from Mane. Should have been an obvious call to the ref. Like, after it touches the woodwork, new play, game moves fast though. No VAR, baby.
It took like 4 replays for me to figure out that it was offside, so I can't expect the guy that's doing it in real life to do it. So it was really close. It's unfortunate, but that's part of football. In terms of, at the time, it was Liverpool had a few bigger chances, and the woodwork shows that too. Arsenal played the better game, and Liverpool played the more direct game, and in doing so, they could have taken the victory from Arsenal, even though Arsenal looked like they played better than them, which would have made it a typical Arsenal like of the previous regime performance, where you play really good, you pass the ball around, but you get fucked up. Instead, they showed a lot of grit, and the way that Unai Emery set up the team really didn't allow Liverpool, the longer and longer into the game it went, to establish their dominance in the game. In fact, it had them on the back foot a lot with Pierre Aubameyang and Alexander Lacazette running with Mesut Ozil kind of, doing the puppet master thing. If Mkhitaryan on the other side of the field had done more, I think that Arsenal could really, really have damaged Liverpool.
Word up. An abject performance kind of by the midfield outside of James Milner, who had the goal for Liverpool. But that's tough when James Milner is like your guy.
First off, yes, that when James Milner is your guy, it's tough. But secondly, that goal, even though they got like the legit goal knocked off, that goal was purely the goalkeeper's fuck up. Like, if you're going to come out that far and go for the ball, you just got to either keep it or hit it out of bounds. You can't. It just dropped in front of the guy who was just, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, that was terrible, terrible goalkeeping by Bernardo, who was looking shaky in terms of, like, his saves most of the game. His football part, where he passes from the back, Arsenal really like that he's there. But the speed of the game and his decision-making, I think, has to get better.
Word up. The defense here for Liverpool, solid as ever between Van Dijk and Gomez. That's starting to look like a beastly pairing.
They are, but upon coming in, Alex Iwobi, when he came on for Henrik Mkhitaryan, found a gap, literally, between them for Lacazette to run onto and score. They are really, really good, but unless the midfield gets the ball and gives them support quicker, like, you can't have Virgil van Dijk getting run at all game. Like, he's spectacular in what he does, but that's not a good game plan. Speaking of how, like, if you depend on Milner, it's a problem. If you're thinking he'll save everything, this is not a way to really build going forward.
So fascinating to me, especially being a City fan here and watching Arsenal just do what they did to Liverpool, and City clearly shell-shocked, Pep clearly shell-shocked, and just not and super respecting this team. And man, Arsenal did.
I would say that you,
lively.
as a fan, is also super shell-shocked and always gives Liverpool way more respect than possible because of how they eliminated City last year. I think there's a bit of PTSD to it.
You could say that, Freud, but I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Of course not.
I watched
of course you wouldn't.
I watched a team that ran roughshod over all of Europe pretty much since January last year and go out into the market and sign players in each need.
But this is the multiple
need.
time where you've, like, when I said Chelsea was close to the level of Liverpool, you basically laughed me off the show. When I said Arsenal could give them the point, could take points last week, you basically laughed me off the show. Like, you think so highly of this team that...
The team that had the goal taken away and should have had 3 points. Agreed.
Yes, the team that had 31% possession.
At 39.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, absolutely.
Those 8 were important.
Absolutely, man. So in realistic fashion, though, a point really isn't bad for either team here.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's
a home game for Arsenal, and like Liverpool away to Arsenal getting a point.
Yeah, anytime you're playing against the Big Six team, when you get a tie, you can't really say it was terrible. Like, any one of those opponents, like if you're playing Chelsea, Man City, whatever. But I would say that Liverpool needs to win one of these. They have the tie with Chelsea. They have the tie with City. They have the tie with Arsenal. Like, at some point, if they're the team you're talking about, they have to turn into victories.
Well, we shall see. Who you man of the match?
Man of the match, Lucas Torreira. They couldn't play around him. Even I would say the second nomination for me would be for Granit Xhaka. Even though I've talked mad shit about him, like the football that they were breaking, like they didn't let Liverpool get into their groove, and gotta give it to them. That was always Arsenal's weakness in big games.
So, are you like on this train though that Arsenal's like? I saw the headline that was like how Emery turned Arsenal around in 6 months. Is this a turnaround for you?
I don't think that Arsenal were talent-wise ever as bad as they were made out to be. The same way I don't feel that Manchester United is now. Like, they're just going through a terrible patch. So if you bring in the right person, there's talent there to make moves. But I think that Emery's start has been impressive. Like, that double pivot that he instilled, like, that was the major issue that most of Arsenal performances have happened, you know. Nobody thought that Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang would start together like last season. And he's what got him to ball out. Like, so yeah, he might not have done the exaggerated amounts of progress, but yeah, like, you get a $60 million guy to play with the $50 million guy successfully, and you hold down the midfield. That's a solid thing to build on. They came into this game with injuries in defense. Like, only, I would say, 1 out of their 4 is a proper defender. Shoghdam Mustafi is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
Rob Holding, by the way, who's coming into a good form lately, but like, he's also just a guy. And Kolasinac is some fucking idiot. And he got
like the Bosnian tank, man.
I know, like, that's why I live in the United States. I don't want to see that. But to have that defense and really hold this team down to like a goal, which if Berlino hadn't fucked up, they might have even got a 1-0 out of it, you know?
So Liverpool fall to second here, dropping points, while Arsenal stay in 5th place, but they are only a point back of Tottenham. The top 5 is super tight. Let's move along. Next match. Head to La Liga for a game that I oddly was interested in with Eibar and Alaves. 2 teams that were fighting against the drop last year in La Liga. And
it's not too late this year.
Alaves sitting in 2nd place walking into this game. They opened it up in the 4th minute off a goal that was VAR confirmed from a bullshit header.
Mr. Johnny.
Yoni. Is that Yoni or Johnny?
Johnny.
Johnny?
But immediately after, though, like about 20 minutes into the game, one of the worst tackles to get a red card. The one smart thing about that tackle was that it happened right outside the box. Yep. So he didn't give up the penalty.
Yep.
So he got straight red off of some VAR action too. I don't know why. I think they're checking to see if it was a penalty or a free kick.
Mm-hmm.
And they missed the free kick. Ruben Duarte. And
let's hope he's not related to the Duarte.
Oh, okay.
Well, that ref might have a visit coming. So 24th minute, red carded. So now Alaves is on the back foot. They're up 1-0, and they basically pack it in for this game. Stats show as much. Eibar was 71%, 23 shots to Alaves' 9. That free kick that you were talking about that was not a PK because it was right outside of the box hit the woodwork.
Yeah.
Almost goal.
Outside of the post.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But then, this changes again.
They had 12 corners to their 1.
Yep, absolutely. In the 60s, but no scoring here till the 62nd minute when Pablo de Blasi.
Okay. He steps on dude's ankle in a very stupid ass way and gets caught. Again, VAR.
Yep.
So he gets sent off straight red, so it becomes 10 on 10. Still one-way traffic.
Yep. Are you cool with all this VAR action?
I'm fine with it. I just wish these guys would play better football. Like, that's the bigger issue, is the amount of time wasted with them rolling around and pretending to fight. That wastes more time than the replays wasting.
I mean, the VAR, I'll give it that. Like, the VAR is quick, like the way they do it.
Yeah, like, so far it's not really, like, I was
not like the
actually,
NFL shit.
I was much more gung-ho against it before, but, like, a lot of other things that are going in the football game waste a lot more time than the VAR is doing. So I'm like,
I think the interesting thing is that they can basically it can make any call. It seems like, am I correct about that? Like, they can go back and VAR anything that they want to do. Or is this the on-field ref's decision, or is this coming from?
I don't know. I think on different leagues, different conditions, but I think that once play starts, though, it stops. Like, the referee can stop it, but then once play has started, you're on. You keep playing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know enough about VAR, mostly because none of the information you find out about it gives you all that they're. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So but it's been fine. Like, these were both very well deserved, though. Like, that kid, like this Pablo de Blasi's kid, like, he should be fucking gone. Like, that. And when you look at it, when people are investing 50, 60 million on a football player, and, like, for example, in the 94 World Cup, Luis Enrique, the current Spain national coach, got his nose broken by an Italian defender. And that was the first time that they saw video replay and went back, and the defender got suspended for 6 games. But that game, he was blood coming out his nose. The referee didn't say anything, so they just kept playing.
Yeah, just kept playing.
He tried to fight the dude and even got sent off for it.
Wow. So 66 minute though, 4 minutes later, Mark Cucurella,
Yeah, Cucurella.
who promptly delivers an assist to Joan Wohan. Joan Jordan.
Yeah, Johan Jordan. Yeah. So
There's an H missing there.
Let the record
man.
show that you're the person that really wanted to do this show, this particular game, by the way.
But that was a wonderful bender, man, into the corner.
Yes, they're all benders on this team.
There's a wonderful cutback, so it's equalized, and then 91st minute.
Now that, speaking of bend on a ball, like that fucking
That cross
that came in was pinpoint.
Yep, that was 91st
Papakuli
minute.
Diop, off of the previous goal scorer, Mr. Jordan, gives the assist. Boom.
Boom. So this ends up being 2-1. Eibar take 3 super valuable points. Alaves drop 3 valuable points. Obviously, all points are valuable. Alaves maintain their top 4 spot, and they sit in 4th. And Eibar get all 3 points and have 14 for the season so far. Man of the match here?
Well, it was between Martin Aguirre Gavarira or Victor Lagavarira or Guillermo Gavarira. So I'm going to give it to Kike.
Kike?
Yeah, because I can say that name.
Shut up, man.
No, I'm just joking. Jordan.
Yeah,
He had a goal and an assist and really pulled the team out of like what is probably going to be a relegation battle and gave them a little padding. But don't let this fool you. Alaves will start free falling soon, and probably by February they're going to be very close to the relegation.
Yeah, they got a super young team with not a lot of like prospects. Man, but sitting with 20 already, looking good.
Right.
Word up.
Are tied for second now, but actually fourth. But that's impressive. Like, whatever happens going forward,
third
like
of
the fact that Alaves has 20 points currently, and they're actually ahead of Real Madrid this late in the season, is a huge accomplishment. Big up yourself, and hope you have some parachutes so that your fall is going to be a little less.
Coach, quit now, man. Quit while you're ahead.
That would be Abelardo Fernandez. He's the coach.
Word up. Moving along, man, to Ligue 1, and touching on another small team that has a little bit more history than Alaves. Montpellier hosting Marseille.
Yes, there were no small teams in this game, actually. Montpellier is the team that Michel Platini came up through and is one of the most decorated teams in France, and Marseille is the other one. Like, Montpellier, Marseille, and Lyon are, like, take up most of the support of the French.
Really?
Yeah. Lyon, not so much. That like over the like late 90s and 2000s, they really dominated so much that they got a lot of new fans. But Marseille and Montpellier have huge fans. And funnily enough, Montpellier is Lyon's geographic rival.
Oh, cool.
That's the one that they're the team that last year. Remember, Nabil Fekir took off his jersey and held it up to them.
Yeah,
that was the game.
That was the game. Yeah. They are one of 5 teams to have played in the inaugural season of Ligue 1 and have never been relegated. Marseille is another one of those teams. Either way, they put it on Marseille this game. After a first half that you could have napped through.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about Marseille is that they don't seem like they've found what consistently. Like, they have the forward, right? They have Tovan and Payet and Valerie Germain, and they can, get it done. But like the team around them just never seems like it's clicking. And if Baye carries them, then they do it. This game, he couldn't.
Goals here were there was 2 big chances in the first half. I mean, that was a beautiful save. But look at this. Awful.
Yeah, Dimitri Payet fucking missed a sitter. Marseille seem to have Dimitri Payet's character right now. Attitude reflects leadership, and he's that guy. Even when he was at West Ham, and especially when he's back at Marseille, when he's on and he's playing, they look nice. But he's a very iffy player.
Yeah, first goal opens up by Gaëtan Laborde, French guy, about 24 years old here. So many French players. Gaëtan, wonderful header, man. Like, the placement on it is just...
It is, but look how open dude is.
Oh, for sure. You still got work to do, though.
He had to take 2 steps back. Nobody touched him.
It was a FIFA header for sure.
Yeah.
His second goal is nice too. Montpellier worked them in the second half.
Rudy Garcia.
But watch this by was it Amavi?
Amavi, yes. Oh, look at that miss kick right there in defense. And then look at the tackle. Saving tackle. Nope, not. We gotta get you.
What you doing?
So
Hold up.
Montpellier is completely destroying Marseille. The guy gets 3 shots at 3 chances at 1 shot because the defense just keeps spitting it back to him, and he finally just fucking took it.
Nails it. Yep.
But it's an embarrassing display from the. It seems like Marseille didn't travel with their defense. They left it behind because there was like a series of like 6 or 7 mistakes in just that one goal.
In that one little goal, yep. Yeah. And then they got one more put on them a little bit 8 minutes later by Paul Lasny.
Yes. And it was a terrible defense. It looked like defense of a team that don't believe in their coach. And Stefan Mandanda got fucked up nicely.
There it is. Wanted to note that Marseille have 5 players above 30 that played in this game, and Montpellier have 2 on the entire squad. Marseille with a little crickety, man.
To a certain level, yeah, but it's only because Montpellier would take all 5 of those over 30 players from Marseille if they could afford them. Like, they're actually, like, one of them is Dimitri Payet. The other one is Adil Rami on defense, who's been, like, even their captain. Like, these are players of caliber, players that Montpellier wouldn't be able to afford. Is the only reason they don't have them.
Well, I bring it up because is that part of the issue here with Marseille? Are they an aging team?
It could be, but also, like, these guys I told you about are not only are they aging, but they are notoriously moody characters that, like, even Adil Rami when he was with fucking Valencia, like,
which is awful.
They blow hot and cold, and this is the leadership is they're very, like you said, they're older, but they're very.
If I could drink Provence and eat bouillabaisse with the view that they have, I could not be an ornery character. I don't understand.
I don't know what the fuck you just said, but sure. The fuck is a Provence? You gonna drink provinces?
A Provence rosé.
Oh, okay.
With some bouillabaisse, which is fish stew.
Oh, yeah, no thanks on both.
Bomb. With the beautiful view, that's like their LA, man. But I don't understand.
Pizza and a whiskey, thank you.
We'll see you at the Rangers game. Marseille, man, they sit 6th place, 2 points off top 4. Montpellier sit in 2nd, tied with Lille on points. They do have a league-owned title in 2012, which I believe was the first kind of crazy year of PSG, maybe the 2nd year of PSG mania. They snuck in there and stole that.
They have their moments, but they're financially very strapped, so they can't do much, and I don't expect them to end up in a Champions League spot.
No?
I don't think they have depth.
Wonder who was on that 2012 team. That's kind of when I first came. It was the 2011-12 season, so I wasn't quite in tune with such in-depth league teams. Man of the match.
We're gonna go with the goal scorer. What was the dude's name? The guy who scored the first goal.
Gaëtan
Laborde.
Labroad. I'm bored with this game. Let's go.
I'm so bored with Ligue 1.
Fiorentina, Roma. Excitement on paper. Tell us about it.
Roma seem like they're getting a lot of time from us on this show, and in this particular game, I expected them to do better against Fiorentina, and apparently they did not. They barely managed to get a tie out of it.
Dude, 2 big chances missed. 1 hit the woodwork. 13 of their 19 shots were in the box, and they only put 4 on target. Checo had an awful fucking miss here.
They played against a team that has Kevin Morales playing, which was an ex-Liverpool guy who could not play. And both the other 2 strikers are mostly known for being sons of ex-players, Giovanni Simeone and Federico Chiesa. But Fiorentina is a tough destination, Florence, and with Champions League coming up, I never thought Roma would come with the kind of energy that would be required. And also with Eusebio Di Francesco, he changes the team so much. Remember last year we were talking about how they only played 4-3-3? Well, this game they were in a 4-2-3-1. And we'll see. We'll talk about them again on Thursday. We'll see what formation they have in the Champions League, which will probably be another 4-3-3. So I don't know how... Like Nicolo Zaniolo played, Cengiz Under. I don't know what the team is, and I don't think they do either. So they're not consistent.
And that is absolutely what it looks like. They sit 9th in the table at the moment. Fiorentina above them in 8th. Let's talk about Simeone for a minute. Sorry, boss. Sorry, Dad. Your son took a dive in this game, in my opinion, even though VAR upheld that. What'd you think?
First of all, Diego Simeone got David Beckham sent off at the World Cup by diving.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't frown upon these activities.
Genetic shit. All right, no doubt. There's obviously genetic skill passed down to generations in this.
Yeah, I mean, you get a little dive action.
Did you see the one that he laid up on as well? That he just decided not to, like, oh, thanks for that awesome pass right in front of goal. I'll do nothing with it. Simeone yanked in the 78th minute after that. I felt like Fiorentina had those chances, definitely could have stole those points, but they came back and stole a point here, 85th minute.
Yeah, Fiorentina should feel hard done by the result. Like, Roma didn't really deserve 3 points. If you look at
their midfield was atrocious in this game.
Whose are you talking about, sir?
Roma.
Oh, yeah. But Steven Nzonzi seems like he's playing himself into shape while he's there. And I don't know. Like, I think they were just looking towards the next game. But if you look at their possession, they had 63% possession in an away game. And they had 19 shots, but they only hit the target 4 times. That's ridiculous.
Totally ridiculous. So what are you... they're falling fast here, man. But they're only still... They're 5 points out of a top 4 spot at this point. Plenty of time to turn it around.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Like,
do you think they're going to turn it around?
I think that... What do you consider turning it around is my question. Like,
making Champions League. Getting a top 4.
I think that's going to be very tough. Not because of, like, the distance and the points only, but because... the teams that there are between them.
It's looking like there's only one spot up for grabs. It looks like 3 of them are going to be, if these teams continue. And
I think that one spot right now, you have to say that Milan and Lazio are fighting for it. Like, you are trying to be the 3rd team looking for one place if everything works out. Yeah. And you get past Fiorentina and you get past, Torino.
Yep. Agreed.
And Sassuolo, they have Kevin Prince and Boateng, so they're going to stay up there,
The Prance. No doubt. As mentioned, man, Fiorentina sit 8th, Roma sit 9th. 1-1, good classical Italian drizzle. We're going to move along to the midfield for the big game reviews.
What was this? It was really. What was this? It was. What was this? It was really good.
Hit you off. As we've been consistent with our formation all year this year, we were, new coaches last year, just trying out shit all over. We on that 4-3-3 though. And as normal, we have our reliable midfielder EPL coming up. EPL review. Start you off Saturday morning with, my second favorite team, which I watched the whole game.
It was so bad. Can you believe how bad Manchester play? My God. This is the Manchester team that you expected to do more against Juventus.
Hey, man,
now you understand why I didn't expect them to do more against Juventus? They're going to do it against Bournemouth for most of the game.
Bournemouth was on their ass about the first 30 minutes.
Bournemouth was outplaying them. If you just took off the jerseys and had both teams playing grey, you'd think that Bournemouth was Manchester United, if you were told, And it seems like this team, even what happened in this particular game was that they went down. Looked like it wasn't really coming together, and then at some point they just kind of stopped listening to the guy and they just play like street ball, and then they play good. But when they play Mourinho game plan, no, they do not.
They do not, dude. But they got the 3 points here with a late Marcus Rashford goal.
Anthony Martial started it off, and then Rashford off the bench, as we said. I wanted to talk about this last week before he added one more goal to it, okay? Anthony Martial last week scored his 40th Manchester United goal.
Yeah? How's that for, post-Sir Alex?
I don't know, but he is their highest scorer since he's been signed. Nobody has scored more than this guy, who is going to be something, but shit. That's the most goals you've got is from a guy that just 3 weeks ago became a starter.
Oh, they pulled that back. Anthony Martial actually had the goal, like you said, with Alexis Sanchez, so it went 1-1 at halftime, and then he pulls Mata.
Alexis actually made a nice assist, even though he played like a fucking buffoon the whole game.
Him and what instructions?
Don't bump into people. It should not be an instruction a coach has to give you. I can't blame Mourinho on him stopping the ball, looking up, and passing it to a Bournemouth player. That one I cannot give to the coach. You have to know what the fucking which guy is on your team.
The guy who hasn't played in 6 weeks or however long.
Yes, it doesn't take much to if you walked into the field, I'd expect you to know who your teammate was.
It's questionable.
It's not about.
It's questionable. Double sub at the 56th minute, man. Rashford on for Mata, Ander Herrera on for Fred, and it didn't look like much really changed. But they sure pulled this away, man. 92nd minute, Marcus Rashford finished it off. They take all 3 points. Moving along. Or unless you have something else to say.
Fred and Matic together is not a good midfield to be behind Pogba because they're both not that mobile. I don't get it. And creative, it's like you can have one of those guys maybe these days, but you can't have them both out there and they're the guys that are supposed to protect the ground behind Pogba. Imagine earlier in the show we talked about Lucas Torreira and Granit Xhaka and the kind of work they were doing. Imagine the fall-off when we're talking from there to, these guys have...
So talk to me about them both, though. Fred is new to the league from Shakhtar.
Yes.
He's still young. He has legs. Does he just need to get up to speed here? Play in a better system?
Definitely going to have to play in a better system, but I think that they're redundant, is what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
If you just want to play one, play one.
So, but didn't it? And then the one thing I noticed in watching every minute of this enthralling game was that Pogba certainly was way forward, where you like him. He wasn't owning shit, but he certainly
he's kind of playing in the hole behind the striker.
And he's responsible for the assist for the game winner.
Yes, and a very good assist.
Isn't that what you want, Pogba? Where you want him?
But overall, his performance was also kind of shit. He was
it was kind of average.
He was getting hassled off the ball. There was and Pogba's football has too many turnovers. Yes, he does the assist, but you have to respect the ball, man. Like he for your midfield anchor, like that's the position where that has to be your guy that has what you'd call in basketball like the handles. You know what I'm saying? Like he can't be careless with the ball.
Yep.
You're kind of the quarterback there, dude.
Yep. So what do they have the solution in this current team? You run Matic and Herrera, Fred and Herrera, or
I think that Herrera should play a lot more. I think that he really,
which he did last year.
Yeah,
I thought he was a Mourinho guy, but
but also being a Mourinho guy means being burnt out. When you play all the minutes. You know.
Would you play Fred or Matic?
At this point, I'd play Fred and just see what happens. Like, and
I think so too.
Him and Herrera, and see what happens with that.
The Matic is not the guy that was.
And when you do Matic and Herrera, now you're doing a partnership of both over 30 at a position where neither one of them is very fast either. So you know.
Yep. All right, moving along. Everton and Hove. Everton put up 3 on these boys, took all 3 points. Everton, like
Richarlison,
they're setting it up to do what they do next year. To have all that hope, like, oh, we're on the verge. We're gonna sign $80 million worth of players, and then we're gonna finish 13.
I don't think they're going to finish 13th next year. I think that Marcos Silva's project, like it's starting off slow because it's a new project, but I think that he's going to turn them into a decent team. Everton has been in a no man's land, but they have a good support system. Like they have a lot of fans. They have a structure. Like they're a big club, you know. Like they have a good academy. Like if you look at like Wayne Rooney came out of their academy, you know. Mm-hmm. And I think that with the right management, they can be a solid. Like I can see Marcos Silva taking them to like a European spot next season.
Andre Gomez with the start.
Yeah, he's been doing decent for them,
for sure.
I don't know. Like if you can't play for Barcelona, it doesn't mean you can't play football in the world.
No, I agree.
You know?
He's a Portugal national team player. All that being said, Everton sit 9th at the moment, man. 5-3-3. Shore up their defense, and they'll be a little more dangerous.
Yeah, they're going to be a little more dangerous. They've gotten rid of the redundancy in positions that they had, and they will continue to do that. And once they start bringing in more of the manager's players, I think that they're actually going to get much better.
West Ham hosting Burnley something, kid. 4-2. They put up 4, man.
Hey, when West Ham put it on you, they put it on you.
Bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang.
Bang, 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 bang.
Most of this happened 1-1 at halftime, and then this ended up 4-2. Javier Hernandez, Chicharito.
Who I was wondering if he was dead.
Yeah. I know.
The last time I saw him, he had on a Mexico jersey. It was in the World Cup. And I was like,
Felipe.
It was in Russia. Maybe he never came back.
Nah.
Maybe he was with Ramzan.
Nah, we'd have seen him on Instagram at least. But the brace here for Felipe Anderson, one of those goals was super nice.
Yeah, Felipe Anderson is really becoming the leader of the club in the connecting the midfield and the forwards.
Go ahead.
What is it? Oh, okay. Getting him off Lazio was one of the better things that they've done. He had issues with Inzaghi over there. The guy used to always blame him for all the issues. In fact, we talked about last year how they almost had a locker room fight. Mm-hmm. So the kid is talented, but this is an enigmatic team, you know. And when they're on, they're beautiful to watch, but they usually fuck up too.
Yeah, no, it's West Ham. 11 points, man. After that super slow start, they sit 11th on the table. Cardiff City hosting Leicester in their first game after the death of their chairman. Of course, all the storylines. So it's such an emotional whatever. They won. They got the goal here. Leicester City, all 3 points.
That was his final benevolent thing to do, was to die the week before Cardiff.
Before Cardiff, yeah. I'm gonna make sure you win that after I go. Damari Gray with the goal here in the 55th minute.
Mark Gray, for where his career started and where it was supposed to go, has been a bit of a disappointment. I didn't expect him to even still be at Leicester.
Word. Leicester here with 5 big chances, 4 of them missed, 10 shots inside the box. Just not that clinical, but again, they get all 3 points. Newcastle score a goal and unsurprisingly beat Watford here, but Watford probably should have took some points from this game, man.
That is what having like a person like Benitez coaching you is that you don't steal some games you don't deserve when you have good management. And Watford right now, they'll either fuck you up. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get with Watford, and it's one of the true enigmatic teams out there. So
16 shots, 1 on target.
But that's Benitez' defense too. Like
5 big chances, 5 missed.
You know, like they'll put the banks up there and take it. And I think the scorer is like Ayoze came off the bench, didn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
So total coaching success there. Speaking of the being a setup for next season, watch Newcastle next season when Benitez's contract runs out and they fucking nosedive into the championship.
If they don't end up there this year,
they're not gonna.
You don't think so?
Not with him. No.
Not with him.
No.
Not without a goal scorer. Can only work so much magic.
The only reason they're in the conversation is because they don't have a goal scorer, and I think the management will get them. Like the teams that are going down are really committed to going down. Fulham will go down probably.
Only true love.
Cardiff is guaranteed to go down.
Yeah, done.
Like this season, I think that the relegation battle is going to be actually not as many teams in it as like I think that the bottom teams will just fucking go
There's
away.
already looking
Southampton.
like
I hope to God leave.
Yeah, there's already looking like some separation here. It might be the little 5-team race. Moving along though, we have the Wolves Tottenham, which turned out to be a fun game after looking like it would have been a Spurs romp.
Yeah, they got it. They got ahead, but then they started giving up fucking dumbass penalties. Invited the team back into it.
Absolutely. Trippier, who be tripping, obviously.
Why you Trippier?
Like he was tripping against Man City. Defensively, like, what are they doing there? Why doesn't the young kid get any burn? Walker Peters.
Technically, Trippier is the young kid too, though.
Is he? I mean, no, I know he's young as hell, but
yeah, he's up coming too. Like I think he's like 22 or something himself. Like,
yep.
And the Walker Peters shit, I just love that his name is actually also Kyle.
Kyle Walker, I know.
Like that's Levy's defining moment is replacing Kyle Walker with Kyle Walker Peters and acting like nothing happened.
Serge Aurier was on the bench for this game. He has not seen the Premier League so far.
Serge Aurier is a very special person. So.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know, man. I know. Yeah, Kyle Walker Peters not even on the matchday squad. Not sure if that's through injury. You are incorrect, by the way, sir. Kieran Trippier is 28 years old.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I thought he was younger than that, too.
Then he should be better. The only reason I've been giving him a pass is because I thought like he was like on his way up or something.
Astute analysis, sir.
I think 22 was like a little bit of an exaggeration on my part, but I didn't think he'd be even close to 28. I thought he'd be like maybe 24.
Yeah, no sir. All right, moving along though, they still got all 3 points, man, and they remain in the top 4. And then Sunday, I awoke to glory, which was Manchester City hosting Southampton, and they smacked them, gobsmacked them 6-1.
I mean, Southampton has not got a point in the last how many games? They've not scored a goal in the last how many games? Like it was.
All right,
the fact that they scored the one should be embarrassing.
This game could have been.
It could have been 500.
It could have been
But
4-3.
like Man City should not have let it go to this fucking team. They haven't been scoring against anybody for anything. They haven't been even trying to get points.
And I believe there was at least, let's see what they're statting. Yeah, 3 big chances, 2 missed by them. I mean, they missed a couple wideys. I was like, wow, you should have definitely scored those.
The other team agreed, so they gave him a penalty.
So that like again and again and again, I keep like that feels like the thing about Man City. Like they're just not in defensively when it comes to the luck that you need in Champions League. Like whatever they're doing back there just does not bode well. But that's also kind of Pep's history as well. Yes, no.
To a certain level, yes, but I think that over the course of a game, if you're gonna gamble that much and be so exposed, like this is part of it. Like you're gonna give up some goals, you know. But he's not gonna play like you saw against Liverpool. Like he's not gonna play this far out when he's playing against teams in the Champions League. You know, like this was a case of like, oh, they're fucking where is Southampton? Let's go all out, and then like you get got on the counter a few times. He's willing to take that gamble. And I think from playing against Borussia Dortmund with Klopp back in the day, and like even being eliminated again last season and the season before, I think he's changing his system to not go gung ho attack in the Champions League, which funnily, Sir Alex Ferguson had to learn that. He had to learn playing with one striker. At the time, England was playing 4-4-2. Everybody plays 2 strikers. He would go to Europe and start that shit, kick and run. And they'll get fucked up and get, sent home early rounds. So I think this is part of like the other day when you're like, yeah, translating the Pep football to all over the world and this and that. And it's like, yeah, but that final hurdle of translating it into Champions League domination post Barca, he has not managed. And until he does, that blueprint, yeah, it's nice seeing you do that against Cardiff and all these teams. But the biggest test is when you do it and you expose big, huge teams and knock them out with that game plan.
But it's bigger than just like it's revolutionary shit, and it has changed.
The amount of talent he has on his team, he could win playing whatever position he plays.
But you watch
in the league.
But you watch any of these teams, all these teams attempting to play out from the back. Like even
you think that it started with him?
No, I didn't think it started with him, but he is the evolution of that philosophy.
Yeah, he's one of the people that went in that direction along with Klopp and them. Like this is the evolution of football. Like he's not just
which he very much.
But even before then, like starting with Arsenal with Arsene Wenger, they were playing out of the back in the 90s, dude.
How many people like even attempted to copy and successfully copied that? There's a lot of teams that play from the back now, which is a thing for me. But with all that being said, like,
so you think? Hold on. I just want to go back to causation, and you think that's because of Pep that's what's happening in the world?
I didn't say that.
Okay, good.
I understand that everything is built upon something else.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? But you do not consider him a revolutionary tactical manager here? In this context?
I do, but I don't think that it has been this revolutionary tactical thing that he did at Barca has not been repeated at the highest level of football yet. That is not deniable. That is not debatable, because he has not won a Champions League or got to a Champions League final since he left there.
Now I can't really
and he's been dumped out in embarrassing manners in the Champions League.
I can't really talk about the 2009, but I know in the 2011 that there were certainly some moments that broke Barcelona's way and allowed them to win that. So outside of them, they won 2 with the Pep Guardiola and the Pep Guardiola reign. So they won 2. And at the end of the day, I think we all know the Champions League requires a bit of fucking luck. You can have all the tactics, and if you show up for one fucking bad game, that's your ass, homie. So it's like hard for me. It's hard for me as a newer fan to sit here and judge just by European success, knowing how random it is, and it's totally random.
But you cannot at the same time sit here and do all the praises when that is the final test that everything has to pass. In football, if you're playing for Emirates owners, yes, sorry, you're not a neighborhood team anymore. This is what you're judged on. When you go and get Pep Guardiola to come to fucking Premier League, it's not to fucking beat Stoke.
It's to win.
It's
Premier
to
League,
win
though,
the
first.
Champions League and to be like after the first year. That is why guys that have won the Premier League have got repeatedly fired. Is because the cause is to find the Champions League right now.
Okay.
And until
fair.
And it was when he went to Bayern Munich, he went to a treble winning team and didn't make a final.
Yep.
And now, the clock is on. Like it's been more, like when did you say? 2011, 2012 at Barca, right? Mm-hmm. We're getting further and further. Just like with Mourinho's success in the Champions League, this is getting further and further away. The year he won it from where we are now. And he has to do it at some point. Or I can't sit here and just say his system works if it's getting defeated.
I think it absolutely has to. You have to. They just fucking won the fucking Premier League and like crushed the Premier League last year.
Leicester won the fucking Premier League too.
Crushed it in record-breaking fashion. Teams in record-breaking fashion.
Okay.
Dude.
And
I've certainly been
there
fair.
There is a league that is out there that is built for teams that do shit in record-breaking fucking fashion. It's called the Champions fucking League. And if you don't prove it there, yes, it's nice, it's cute what you're doing, but it needs to graduate. That's as simple as that.
It needs to graduate?
Yes, you need to fucking show that you can do that shit against the majors. Where is Man City's big scalps out in Europe and in knockouts? Where is their Champions League Saturday match? Where is their game?
In the 2 years that he's played? In the 2 years that he's coached them?
He is the person that says that he believes a coach is only good for 3 or 4 years, and then after that he's not going to get hurt.
Okay.
According to him.
But I'm failing to see here, like, what exactly are you talking? There's a million different barometers, and what's your personal barometer?
Your personal barometer that doesn't teach that Zinedine Zidane, who won 3 back-to-back Champions Leagues, is a legend.
You
but
mean
thinks that Pep Guardiola should be given
the guy who coached for 2.5 seasons off a team that had already won the fucking Champions League the year before, probably finished in the semifinals the year of, has one of the 2 best players in the history.
Team and got bounced. Pep took a treble team and got bounced.
In one of the
and you think that this guy is not a legend, but this guy is.
I didn't say that. And that was you misconstrued that last year. I said
so
whether
did our
or not,
listeners, by the way.
Oh yeah. They weren't listening either because the state. Okay. I can tell you exactly what the statement said.
It's not the world.
The statement.
It's not
the
statement.
We can rewind it back because there's proof. Whether or not what they heard, what you turned it into last week. You know what I'm saying? Because what I said, whether or not you believe that is debatable, that's not even offering an opinion. So I didn't say he is or he isn't. And we can rewind that. We can listen to that back because that's exactly what I was saying. But since we're on that,
I think that saying it's debatable whether Zidane is a coach, a legend or not, just opening the question is taking away from him. Like to say that it's debatable. Dude, it's not.
It's like Barry Switzer. Come on, man. He fucking showed up at a team that's
already
made team.
Barry Switzer won 1 and got fired. This guy won 3 back-to-back.
2.5 seasons.
He won 3 Champions Leagues. Nobody has done that back-to-back years.
Okay.
Ever in history.
He took a team that was there. This is not, in my personal opinion, this is not pulling a fucking team up out of nowhere. And he fucking came to a team that just won it. They just won the shit the year before.
The Champions League has a history of nobody
and we watched
repeating
it last year.
it.
We watched it last year.
Oh my God, you make both sides of the argument. Okay. On to the next.
So, also that day, Chelsea and Palace. And Chelsea
awesome
put
game.
Up 3.
Chelsea's fucking playing really good, but Palace could not be stopped on the wings for most of the fucking game. They had Chelsea on the back foot. Like, to where they asked Sarri about it, and he's like, yes, he's very fast. Wilfred Zaha was causing havoc.
And they still took a 3-1 here. No surprise, really.
It looked for a long time that it was going to be a 1-1 and that Chelsea would drop the points. It's after it became 2-1 that it kind of floodgates opened, and then the third was easy. But for a long time, Crystal Palace looked like they would get something out of this game, actually.
Alvaro Morata with 2 goals.
And could have had the hat-trick if he didn't try to chip the goalkeeper at the last second. And
there's no way that was going in. I could tell 10 feet. As soon as the whole run up to it,
He
just
gave him the
wasn't
ball
confident,
too
man.
early.
Hell yeah. Word up, take all 3 points. Huddersfield hosting Fulham is in the 72nd minute currently. Huddersfield Town lead Fulham 1-0. Moving along, rest of the world, La Liga. Atleti with the 1-1 tie away to Leganes. Another draw.
Beautiful goal by Antoine Griezmann, but Atleti last year were pulling off a bunch of 1-0 victories with their stunning defense. It seems like law of averages is striking, and that they're not pulling, like, when they do 1-0s this season, it seems like they're getting caught a lot, and it ends up in 1-1 or 2-1 loss, whatever, but like, the defense doesn't seem as on, and it seems like Godin might not be playing in the Champions League game after this, so we'll see what happens there.
Still in the mix, only 4 points behind Barcelona. Real Madrid take a 2-0 victory, a much-needed victory in their first game without the L guy.
They were kind of given the victory. They didn't play particularly good in this game.
Yeah,
it was the second game.
Scored till 80-something minute or something.
Second game since the coach got fired. First league game because they won the Copa game. Where, funnily enough, I just wanted to mention that Karim Benzema has scored the first goal for the last 4 managers of Real Madrid.
Nice.
Like, this guy get fired, the first goal, game back, Copa game, he scores the first goal in that game. Like, when he started, he was the first goal with Mourinho and Zidane. So, but then after that, he doesn't score a second for a long time.
There it is.
And the other goal was, I think, in this game, it was an own goal and some defensive fuck-ups that kind of handed it to them. I think Ronaldo, it's more in his interest for his team to lose to Real Madrid and get lone players than to beat them.
Tough to score back-to-back goals when you're busy kidnapping, allegedly. But with all that being said, Barcelona are away to...
I was like, what the fuck happened? I was like, somebody got kidnapped?
I'm sure. Ask Kareem.
Dude, I don't say Harvin Marison's name, and I don't mess with Karim Benzema.
Me neither, man. That's why I said allegedly. Member of the press here.
I don't know. They're lying. It's actually lies.
Vallecano hosting Barcelona.
That was actually a very, very fun game. Mostly because Vallecano had Barca on the back foot on a lot of occasions during this game. They kind of give Barca but Barca had the numerical superiority in midfield, and they were doing the tiki-taka thing, but Valverde played that same team with Coutinho playing as a forward, but his natural instinct is to come to the midfield, so the midfield was really congested, and they were hitting them with balls over the top, and the Vallecano front line was really giving Barca a difficult time. They were 2-1 up, like, late, and subs and stuff made the impact. Dembele came on, and Luis Suarez has been carrying a lot of load. Like, for earlier in the season, we were talking about how many goals he missed. Like, he's really turned it around, and like over the last 3 games, he has like 10 goals and 3 assists or something. And Dembele scored 1, he scored the other, and they got a 3-2 from a 2-1 position.
Word up. Stay at the top of the table. Sociedad hosting Sevilla, and nobody scores here.
And Sociedad striker who played for Everton last season, Stoke and stuff, Mr. Hesse, completely had an open shot and proceeded to kick the ground and jump up in the air and collapse. Like, it was just like he completely like he was. I'll show it to you, man. It's fucking ridiculous.
Awful. In the exact antithesis of this game, Real Betis hosting Celta Vigo. Try.
Yeah, they had a like nice little shootout there at OK Corral at Celta Vigo Corral. Anyways, very bad defense on both teams, but some spectacular goals. Namely, the Sergio Canales goal. And what was the dude's name on Celta? He had it where he controlled it and volleyed it before.
Like brace or something weird.
Yeah.
Nice goal.
But the control on it, and like it never touched the fucking ground by the time it went all the way in. It was spectacular.
Brais Mendes.
Yes. Brais. like some fucking Portuguese motherfuckers. Anywho, what's his name?
Yeah, that was a 3-3 in the.
Aspas hit the post a couple of times.
That was 1-0 at half.
Yeah, it blew up in the second half, and it was super fun game. I don't think that either one of the managers was happy about it because it was so back and forth, but it was an excellent game to watch.
Yeah, combined 7 big chances, combined 4 missed chances. Both teams hit the woodwork here.
Yeah.
Celta Vigo with 10 shots in the box. Ballin'!
Yeah, Celta plays some really good offense with some really bad defense, and Betis, they're still finding their identity, but they're just both so much fun to watch.
Espanyol playing Athletic Bilbao as we speak, and they are up 1-0 in the 77th minute. If they were to win this game, that would put Espanyol in second place, Sevilla in third, Atletico in fourth, followed by Alaves and Real Madrid, respectively. La Liga, moving along.
Respectlessly.
Serie A, respectively.
I'm just fucking with Real Madrid. I said respectlessly.
Oh yes, disrespectfully. Serie A, Napoli fucking showcased football beauty against Empoli on Friday and put it on them 5-1.
Yes, Dr. Dries, your boy.
Dr.
Dries is in the house.
Hell yeah.
He put on a hat trick of beauties. It wasn't just a bunch of tattoos and shit. And Mr. Kalidou Koulibaly.
He had a nice run, dude.
That run where he like dribbled it all the way up the field and made
the perfect pass.
Yeah,
she was gorgeous.
Kind of looks like Yaya Toure, except after he got a little fatter.
Yeah, no,
like he's got like this
dude,
rumbling thing going, but like the guy can really play.
He's
Kalidou
good, man.
Koulibaly, yeah.
How old is he?
I think I'm gonna stop guessing these things.
Senegalese.
27?
27, yep.
Like a Patrice Evra kind of.
He's on yeah, exactly. He's on one of these center backs on Mourinho's.
In Senegal, he's a grandpa.
In America, he could be a grandpa as well. 27. Moving along.
Okay, not at 27.
Inter.
Senegal is 37.
Inter put it on Genoa 5-0. Inter's been in pretty much scintillating form in the league.
Yeah, Mauro Icardi's balling out. Brozovic is stop being a bitch and he's playing in midfield really nicely. What's his name?
The boy played
Keita Balde.
Keita
Balde doing his thing out there.
Nangolan.
Yeah, he back. He was injured for a little bit. He had a muscle pull, I think, in the derby.
Gagliardini had a brace in his game. They are sitting.
Because he didn't gag.
Second, what?
Because he didn't gag.
Hey, that's what it said. Gagliardini. I don't fucking know, man.
I don't know.
They sit second, both Inter and Napoli with 25 points respectively, both 6 points back. Juventus, who were triumphant 3-1 over Cagliari.
Without Ronaldo
Dybala.
scoring.
No Ronaldo goal, yep.
Dybala, Cuadrado, and somebody else.
Inter, I wanted to mention the least amount of goals conceded in Serie A so far. Only 6. Second to Juventus is second with 8. Napoli on par with Juventus as far as goals, 24 and 24.
Inter gonna have a few goals that are not league goals busted on them this week.
Yeah, quite possible. Lazio keeping the pressure on Champions League spots, putting 4 on Spal with a 4-1.
Yeah, they put it on Mr. Immobile with a double.
And
Milinkovic-Savic is actually kind of playing a different position than he was last year.
I noticed
He's playing
that
further back and more like a DM.
I looked at that, and it doesn't. The statistics haven't been nice. They haven't been favorable.
The coach actually went out of his way in the post-game presser to say how his statistics have gone down, but it's more because he's got him doing defensive works.
Yeah, that's why I was going to say I hadn't really put my eyes on him, so I can't comment that much.
I haven't even watched a lot of Lazio either, so
no.
I don't plan to either.
No, same here.
They should have won that last game against Inter and got to the Champions League if they wanted to be seen.
Bastards. Udinese hosting AC, and AC with a crazy late goal by their center back, I believe.
Yes, who is scoring his second injury time goal to save them in a row, I think.
The 97th minute.
Yeah.
Alicio
Romagnoli. Yes. The Milano player called Romagnoli. So.
This, I definitely had to get mentioned because surprisingly, we're sitting here talking about Gattuso have an issue with the job possibly, and they are sitting in fourth place right now, 4 points behind second place, with a 6-3-2 respectable 6-3-2
How many
record.
points we had first place?
10.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
why it's not that surprising, is because they're there because all the other teams are also fucked up and way far from Juventus.
Oh, for sure. But they were like sitting 9th, 10th. It just felt like
ever since that
a slow start.
It was a very slow start, and ever since it seems like the firing rumors came out, the team kind of rallied. Because you remember it was like right when it started, and then after that it's been win, and they've been holding it up. So we'll see how it goes.
Moving along to Deutschland, Bundesliga. Wolfsburg hosting Dortmund. Dortmund come away with all 3 points.
Yes, on 1-0 lead by Marco Reus.
Rolled Mr. Rolls Royce, 27th minute goal, and then they hold on after that.
And this, along with some other results, which are...
That would be Bayern drawing with Nuremberg.
No. Was it with Nuremberg?
Nuremberg.
Oh, shit, I wrote the wrong Berg. I wrote Freiburg.
Nah, Nuremberg.
Nah.
Bayern 1-1, man.
And
dropping points. No, you're right, man. Agreed. I'm sorry. I wrote the wrong thing down.
Right. Either way, some loserberg.
They got Rafinha to Serge Gnabry for their 80th minute goal, which Freiburg brought it back in the 89th minute.
I was reading this morning that there might be a group of 4, namely Frank Ribery, Arjen Robben, Thomas Müller, and Mats Hummels, who are the leaders of basically trying to get the coach fired.
Kovac, right?
And it was the same kind of vibe as about this time last year when they were trying to get Ancelotti fired. So, and it coincides with Bayern's lack of offensive form.
Yeah.
That 3 of their 4 or 5 offensive superstars have decided they don't really want to play for this guy anymore.
Are they going to bring Yup back?
Yup.
Yup. Yeah, son.
Oh, you know where they found Yup first, originally? That's a funny story.
Where is that?
I'll tell you about it later.
Okay. Moving along. Leverkusen hosting Hoffenheim, and Hoffenheim, again, another team like AC there with the seemingly slow start, but man, they put 4 on these boys.
Yeah, man. They are
creeping up.
Hoffenheim with the boy Reece Nelson on loan from Arsenal doing his thing. Young coach. It kind of feels sad because they look like they're doing good and they're going to creep up, and then he's going to coach. He's going to leave.
Peace. Get that Red Bull money. Red Bull money.
Yeah.
Hertha. Speaking of Red Bull, visiting RB. Hertha was, on a nice little run, and then RB, man, doing the damn thing. Put it on them. 3-0.
Yeah, Hertha was due. They were punching above their weight for the past how many weeks, and the RB explosion is. If you play at home and you're trying to play expensive football, they'll fuck you because their counter is so fast and so direct.
Yay, Hoffenheim. Sitting 7th in the table, 3 points behind 4th place. Sorry, but we're talking about RB, who are actually in 4th place. Only 2 points behind 2nd place, Mönchengladbach, who also put 3 on the Wizard Dusseldorf. Mönchengladbach sitting pretty as well. Looks like it's going to be a decent race in Bundesliga this year. Still not sold? Still not sold? PTSD? Bayern PTSD?
No, I just don't think it's going to be a decent race. I think that even if it's not Bayern, I think at some point, like, Dortmund is going to break off. Like, I don't think these teams are to have the squads to keep up. They have the 11, but I don't know if with Dortmund even, like, let alone Bayern Munich, I don't think that a lot of these smaller teams can keep up with Dortmund.
Word up.
Especially with unless Schalke turns it around and comes up, which they have been doing lately, but unless they get some results, like, there's not a lot of clubs that big.
Or after the winter break, oh, that's right. They don't. They actually take a break.
They take a breaks.
They take a break. I would love to play in German league. Moving along, though, to Ligue 1, where you will get your ankle broke. Speaking of breaks, PSG hosting Lille, second place, first versus second place, 2-1 as Lille claw one back late to make it interesting, but this was Neymar and Mbappe show. No surprise.
Not at all. And bigger surprise is how much of his work Mbappe actually does in the second half. He has like 0 first half goals. It makes you feel like, and Xavi said this, like he was like, he's not professional football mature yet, you know. And if they had a coach that more players respected, like a big name kind of guy, I think that this team has so much more that they could show. Like, we were talking about it the other day with Verratti and all these, like, Angel Di Maria and stuff. They always get exposed in the big games, but I don't think it necessarily has to be that way. But there's just a structure of shit, so they don't rise. Which is funny because PSG is also, I mean, the PSG is built on Arab money just like Man City, but Man City has a great structure going on. And the coach that the manager that they hire is a person that you have to listen to, you know? Yeah. And if they could get that going, I think that PSG is a very scary proposition. But until they do, I think it's just shit, dude.
Ancelotti was probably the only of, I think, of all the coaches they've had, and he was probably the one that you walks in and immediately commands
some sort of respect. And even him, it was like kind of in his downtime that, you know?
Yeah.
But like it would have been, even from within the French league or whatever, like for example, Lucien Favre is over at Borussia Dortmund. Like he's a friend of me.
Yeah.
You can bring him in. Yeah. He's played in he's coached in the French league before, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. PSG take the 2-1 crazy Mbappe goal in this game. Lyon with a 1-1 draw to Bordeaux. No Fekir in this game. He's still injured, I believe.
Yes. There was Fekir in this game, wasn't there?
I don't think so. I don't even think he made squad.
Oh, I thought so. I thought he might have even assisted Mr. Awad. I like saying that name.
Sorry, people. We're going to look at this.
I don't give a shit. Y'all gonna wait. He's going to do this much. All right, here we go. It's the 1-1. And Nabil Fekir comes on in the...
Maybe it was the last game I was looking at them.
And he got subbed off in the 72nd minute.
Word. Yep, he missed the PSG game.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So, either way, the 1-1, slightly disappointing home loss or home draw here against a bottom-dwelling Bordeaux team. Lyon still sit fourth, though. Moving along, Monaco has to be said again. Goddamn.
I mean,
1-0 to Reims.
They
popping that bubbly.
They're going through a major injury crisis on the club, and starting with a new coach that is actually new to purely to management as a whole, you know. So it's going to be a learning process, but I'm still sticking with Monaco to finish somewhere around mid-table.
Word. Speaking of mid-table and some relegation fighters here, Saint Etienne actually sitting in fifth place, put a crazy game with Angers, 4-3. That was another game I was looking at.
Yes, there was some nice goals in it too. The French league, if you can put up with the dribble that they put for like 90% of the time, their goals seem to be very spectacular. The problem is that you have to watch the 8 other shots that he just skied into the fucking sky.
Saint Etienne making Europe last year for the first time in a while, and looked like they're assaulting that again. All right, moving along. Now I get to talk. Just me. No.
So I heard you went somewhere this week.
I did. I got lovely tickets to a DC United playoff game.
And a different kind of playoff structure, as I hear.
Yes, this is the first round is a knockout round. So one game, DC United at home versus the Columbus Crew. Columbus, who are losing their team at the end of the season to Nashville.
That's
I believe.
oh.
Yeah, tough to be you, but you live in a town like Columbus. All respect due.
Apparently they're ready for the move.
They
travel good.
They're ready to roll, man. They actually won last night too. Columbus did against Red Bulls. Anyway, DC United, man. Like I've been to the Seattle-Portland game in Seattle and in Portland, and those were two of the best sporting events I've ever been to. So those kind of
set the bar for you in terms of MLS.
Yep, absolutely.
And how did this?
And it's not fair because I've also been to Galaxy games, and those are the worst. Those are the absolute worst. Like okay, like the quintessential LA experience, and this was certainly in between. It's not going to be what the Seattle Portland I didn't expect it to be, just via the way the location of the stadium is and what's around, and the what do you want to call the ritual that went on in the Pacific Northwest. They've been playing that game for 30-40 years already, even before MLS. So that
they were promoted to NASL teams, right? The other question: have you ever watched DC United game before this? Like in terms of like before the season and the new stadium started?
I have. I went to
RFK.
Yeah, I went to RFK.
I would like to know the comparable, because like I've been to a couple of RFK games and it could never get any atmosphere going, and it was ridiculous because like it was so far apart.
Exactly.
And the new stadium is
the new stadium is incredible. It makes all the difference. Creates all the vibe. The side that we were on that doesn't have like the box suites and all that is super steep, so like you can stand up and the person behind you can probably still sit down. Like,
you feel like you're kind of standing over them.
Yeah,
like La Bombonera.
And I certainly kept feeling like I look around and like I don't think there's a bad seat in it. 20,000 capacity, I believe. But beautiful stuff, man. $14 beers, but whatever.
That's part of the stadium experience.
That's part of it.
But
in Audi Field.
But coming from like being in the DC area and having gone to soccer games at FedEx Field and RFK, I think that the location of the new stadiums, the baseball stadium and this is fucking amazing and allows for people to party.
So yeah, no. And I think like for the future, it bodes very well. Like, because once the rest of the you already know, once the rest of the development happens down there, because it is the quintessential dichotomy of 2018 in America, which is leaving Audi Field and walking through the projects to your car. Which is, it's cool, whatever, but you already know 5 years from now that shit's not going to be there. That's all going to be developed.
Audi Field is not going to be there anymore. The project's
going
to buy it out. You're going to be like, we're going to ungentrify this neighborhood.
Oh, that would be classic. But, awesome game here too. Ended up being 2-2. DC United goes up 1-0 early too, off a header, I believe. Nice little cross in from Acosta. Psh, boom. Anyway, Columbus pulls that back. Oh, wow.
Yeah, Columbus. And the Columbus midfielder by the name of Higuain's brother. Fucking guy. The whole world doesn't know he fucking exists, but he's fucking running the midfield in fucking MLS. It's fucking nuts, dude. Man, the dude has a fucking double against a fucking... Anywho. So, that fucking dude, I wanted to get some info about him.
Higuain, that's right.
Man.
But yeah, they pulled it back even, and then they go up. They go up in extra time because this is a knockout game, so they're playing the extra 30 minutes. They go up in extra time 2-1, and I had to be like 5 minutes before the end of the game.
Nick DeLeon?
DeLeon, yep.
Yeah.
Who I had saw in the last game. He came on as a sub, and he was just But this game, he came on and he changed the entire game for DC United. I felt like Columbus was kind of on them for most of the game, and had the better opportunities. But once that dude came on, he changed it, and he hit a wonderful fucking goal. Like, it's kind of was like off the outside of his foot.
Nice goal.
It was a really nice goal. So 2-2, you can go to PKs, and I will say that I always had looked at penalties as boring when I watched them on TV. I was just like, oh, fuck it, penalties. That was incredible in person. So that will definitely change my perspective going forward.
If for nothing else, for that experience, I'm glad you went to the game. Now you understand what the fuck is going on. They're like, oh shit, these fuckers.
Yeah, and
you watched a thing that many people have not. You were live when Wayne Rooney fucked up his first penalty.
He opened it up. He's going first.
Even when my man over here is supporting DC United, he's still fucking Man City. He's standing there fucking hoping that Wayne Rooney fucking misses. So we know. Jinx the fucking team, dude.
Oh man, dude, I know, man. I had the second game I went to actually was the NYCFC game, and I was like, oh, well, I totally forgot this is a city entity. But anyway,
and I got David Villa.
That's right. But that was a live. That was again. So that because of that whole atmosphere, the fans. I wanted to mention the fans, and I think that was part of what we wanted to talk about. This was that these fans didn't even really watch European leagues. They were like, no, I didn't get into it until we got the team, and I'm all in on this. And then I was just like, wow, like it doesn't register to me because it's difficult to watch on TV, and I'm not going to the game every week. So
funny you should say that. Like, I'm a person raised on basically African and European soccer, but when I first got to the States, I got here about a year before MLS started. And I would actually, even though it was extremely low quality, I would go to University of Virginia soccer matches. Bruce Arena was at the time the coach. Ben Olsen, the current DC United, was a freshman. They had a Damien Silvera was their midfielder. Their fucking striker who broke college records decided to become a doctor. Went to med school instead of joining the MLS. Whoa. But I understand a lot, like, because there was a big gap at that point. So the next year, 96, when the MLS opened, at the time, going to a Bullets game was not a cool thing in DC.
Catch a bullet.
Yeah, like, it was not something you wanted to do. And, like, the atmosphere that it provided, even though it was an experimental league, caught a lot of people, and it's got its own little...
Yeah.
I don't know what they call it, ecosystem.
And when you consider that they stuck through all them years in RFK, which is awful for football, and I mean,
they actually won out there too.
They won, they won like the first two, right?
They won a couple, they won the first two, but then like they won one immediately, and then like in the 2000s they've won one. Yeah.
No doubt.
But they haven't transitioned. Like, it was them and the LA Galaxy that were the first two good teams. Yep. And LA Galaxy has managed to stay relevant way better than DC because they've always had ownership issues. And this new current ownership hopefully will take them to the next level.
So not knowing this, entering the, Ben Olsen's been there like 9 years as the coach.
Yeah.
Been there for a while. And
played his whole career there too, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. And I wonder what they're going to do as far as like, do they see this moment now that they have Rooney? They got that which has totally transformed the kid, Acosta. They transformed his games. They had a couple other decent players. Are they going to go out and splash some loot and like really try to be competitive?
I mean, when you look at Atlanta United, for example, their coach is Tata Martino. He's coached Lionel Messi. I don't think you give a fuck if it's well or badly. Like, you've reached that level of coaching. Yeah. And you have Ben Olsen, who, even though, like, the big issue is that the team doesn't have a lot of talent, but they don't have a lot of talent at manager either. Mm-hmm. And at some point, if you have Rooney, you have to make that call, like you said, and, like, upgrade it.
Yep. Interesting. Really dope experience, though. It ranks up there with me, too, because of the game. DC United did lose on PKs. DeLeon, who scored the wonder goal, skied the final penalty kick.
So Wayne Rooney, the guy who came late into the season and played into MVP contention by carrying this team on his back, missed the first penalty. And Nick Lejeune, the other designated player who's actually had a lot expected from him and scored the goal in the game, missed the other penalty.
And the third one that they missed was their second best player, Acosta. He did the the run up like they all do, and then
So what is this, Redskin soccer?
pretty much
DC teams always stay DC.
there it is, man. All right,
Did John Wall play?
let's we're let's go.
All right.
Word up. Just gonna move through this BVB league profile.
Yes,
Tell us about Dortmund.
Dortmund is a wonderful place. Borussia Dortmund, off of the Rhine in fucking Germany, is the second most successful club in Germany behind Bayern Munich. They play out of the Westfalenstadion, which, check this, dude, holds 81,000 people.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
They sell it out to away games.
Do you know how many Bournemouth Stadium
Have you
holds?
listened to me there?
Yeah.
They sell it out to away games.
games. Wow.
People come there to watch the game on the big screen.
Wow.
While they're playing somewhere.
That's fandom. Do you know what Bournemouth's capacity is for the Vitality Stadium?
Not that vital.
It's
Not
not.
81,000 vital.
It's 11,000. I'm like, how are they even in fucking Premier League? Like, how does that work?
That's like a town hall meeting. That's not even like, dude.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
That's like 9:30 club.
Awful, man. Fire Fest. What the fuck, people? All right, continue on.
They've been the second most successful team in Germany for most of their time, but they also very up and down due to economics, and they in the 70s they actually were competing blah 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 against against Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich. But despite their big support, they win sporadically, and Bayern Munich just has this machine that just defeats. But in the 90s, they had Stefan Chapuisa, Andreas Müller, and an excellent team that went all the way to the Champions League final and beat, I want to say, Juventus.
Did they? They won 2. Did they not?
They played in back-to-back, yes.
Back to back.
Yes,
Okay.
and they played Ajax in one and
That was the
Juventus in the other.
Van Gaal Ajax, right?
Yes, right. But that was the Ajax went back-to-back years, and the first year they beat AC Milan in the final, and the second year they lost to. Actually, I want to say they lost to Juventus, but anyway. So the problem is that in the 90s, during their time of dominance, is when they're kind of some sort of rivalry starts with Bayern Munich, because despite dominating the 1994, 95, and 1995, 96 seasons and winning the championship in both of them, a feud was starting in the German national team, like Andreas Müller, who was a midfielder for Germany, and Lothar Matthäus, who plays for Bayern Munich, who was like an absolute legend. We're getting into it, blah, blah, blah. And in a game, he imitated like Andreas Müller was crying, like made like a crybaby face.
Yeah.
And Andreas Müller slapped him. In game.
Nice. I always loved slap stories. I love slap stories.
Yes. But when they win the they win the Champions League, they eliminate them, Bayern Munich, from the Champions League in the quarterfinal, and over 2 legs, only Stefan Chapuisa scoring 1 goal gets rid of them. And that summer, Bayern Munich hired their coach, Ottmar Hitzfeld, one of now the most legendary coaches of Bayern Munich history.
Yep.
They hired him, and there starts what is known kind of like, now they call it Der Klassiker and like the German rivalry, but it's not a rivalry. It's just a smaller team that hates Bayern Munich.
Yep.
Which is basically Bayern Munich's rivalry with all of Germany is this.
Pretty much.
It's just that this is the biggest team that has that, you know? So...
And the Otto, we were just talking the other week about the Champions League winners. The Otto guy, Otto what? Van what?
Huh?
What's his name?
Otmar Hitzfeld?
He won Champions League with both of these teams, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, went over there, lost it in that miraculous Manchester United championship in 99, and then they won it in 2001. And in the early 2000s, they were both successful. Bayern, like I said, lost it in 99, won it in 2001, and Dortmund in 2001, 2002, they win the Bundesliga and get the UEFA Cup final. But they get financially insoluble and have to get a loan of 2 million euros from
Bayern Munich,
which is one of the weirdest things I've ever heard of. Just to keep them alive so that they can waste on it. And then they go from there, rebuild the team, and by 2010 they have a big team. They have Mats Hummels. Do you know where he plays now?
Oh, yeah. Bayern Munich.
Robert Lewandowski.
Oh, it's the striker for Bayern Munich.
Mario Götze, who also they got and gave back to Bayern Munich.
They're like, yeah, we fucked this one up.
Shinji Kagawa,
Yep.
who later would play for up to Manchester United. And they won it, but the way when they got to when they got to the Champions League final and Borussia Dortmund played against Bayern Munich, it was the first time it got called the German
Classico.
Yeah, because everybody was expecting Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Real Madrid to beat both of them and there to be a Classico
For the
Champions
final,
League final.
Yep.
And so it became referred to as the German Classico.
Nice.
But Bayern Munich's historic rivals are 1860 Munich and Nuremberg and some other smaller Bavarian teams. And Borussia Dortmund's historic rivals are Schalke. And they hate them, like to where they don't even mention each other's cities. Like they just say that place up north.
That place.
You
Nice.
know?
Nice.
So, but there's a certain amount of hatred towards each other. Like we just mentioned, Lewandowski, Mats Hummels, Mario Götze, Bayern Munich just like was gonna yank your players, but they still make it happen. And on occasion, once every 10 years, twice every 10 years, Borussia Dortmund can break through. And when they do, they always play spectacular football. They have really good scouting and academy, which I don't know if that's going to keep up because Arsenal has just bought a couple of their scouts as their chief scouts, so we'll see how that goes. But with Lucien Favre running the team right now, they look like they're doing good, and with Bayern Munich looking fucked up, they might be able to stay up top for a long time.
Boom. BVB. Thought it was me. One of my buddies was just made a match out there in Dortmund.
Oh.
Said it was incredible.
Did you see the 12th one?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that
Pretty
fucking
much.
wall is awesome.
Took a tour too, so like got down on the field and all that stuff. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was grass, huh? Just like everything. Like, don't get that usually.
All right, man. Let's move along. Awards. Dude of the week goes to
Dude of the week, I want to give to Dries Mertens.
Dr. Dries
Yes,
with the
hat trick to keep pace with Juventus, but like that was beautiful goals. Big up Dries.
Hey, word her up. Speaking of goals, goal of the week.
Goal of the week, many contenders. I would like to say Antoine Griezmann, only because the tiebreaker with that and the Sergio Canales free kicks is that the Sergio Canales, the opposition goalkeeper, was far away and had to run a couple of steps and then jump, which makes me think more you are in a bad position. Whereas this one, the guy was positioned perfectly and never moved.
Didn't even move.
He was a statue by the time I was done.
He
I
didn't
was
even
like,
move after. He just kind of stood there. He's like,
yep. It was like, I just got. He had to take a moment of silence.
Tony G.
G in the house.
Next week, got some big games. Big games.
Watch out for the big game.
Starting with the Manchester Derby.
Yes, that's going to be exciting, spectacular things. What do you think is going to happen in that? We will update you guys on the Champions League podcast.
Yeah. I got you 4-1 in the City joint. Serie A.
You got 4-1?
4-1 at City. We're going to bust their fucking ass, man. We owe them.
Hey.
Yeah, I know. Boy,
I hope you're right.
that boy's coming to pack the bus.
Dude, I hope you are right. That'll be so much fun.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking for fun.
I don't think you'll be right, but I hope you're right.
Serie A, AC, and Juventus.
Yeah, that's going to be the big test. If
AC can take some points here.
Huh?
If AC can take some points.
Yeah, Juventus has not looked that spectacular. They're just a machine. And if you can go, like, you don't, I think a lot of teams, when they play Juventus, they think like, oh, this is the top team and we're never going to be as good as them. You don't have to be as good as them. You just have to play them one fucking game. And I think that AC Milan has the talent. But the problem is that Gonzalo Higuain has an injury scare, so we don't know if he's going to be able to play.
But he wasn't going to show up anyway.
He's been assisting on a lot of big games this season, though, if you recall, like down to even the Milan derby.
Yes, he has been contributing for sure. Moving along, La Liga. Sevilla and Espanyol. That is second place Espanyol versus third place Sevilla.
Yeah, it's a Sevilla home game, so I expect they will probably romp, and I think I would say probably a 3-2 or 3-1 or a 3-0.
And in the vein of what we were just talking about, Dortmund hosting Bayern.
Yes, this is the game where we will know whether Bayern Munich wants their coach fired or not, because you cannot hide in this game. No. If they don't play 100%, they will get that 4-1 you were just talking about.
Yeah. Ooh-wee. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'd love to see Bayern get it. Unless they're playing Real. League this is a matchup of what should have been, could have been, what has been over the last few years. But very much in the vein of the team just saying, give us all your players. Or give us your best players at least. Monaco hosting PSG does not get any easier for Henry.
Does not get any easier for Henry indeed, but it is, when you have a talented team that's underperforming, it's actually easier to make them perform in this game than the Rams game. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, they don't want to be embarrassed. They know the world is watching, so they will look better than they actually are for some time. Like, not the game. I'm saying, like, for, like, they won't do that dumb shit. But at the end of it, when you start getting tired, you remember who you are. Yep. And that ill discipline and stuff will catch up with them.
And Monaco will be playing a Champions League game, as will PSG. And I will just run through, these are the rounds that it just reverses fixtures. Atleti hosting Dortmund after getting their ass whooped last time. Inter hosting Barcelona. Napoli hosting PSG, and again the return leg of Juventus United.
Why didn't you mention that Inter got the ass beat?
I don't know.
You should have. After getting the ass beat last time without Messi.
Yeah, what was that?
Now, as you were.
Was that 3-0?
2-0.
2-0, yeah. Napoli PSG, that was a fun game. Looking forward to seeing that back. Don't forget to check us on Thursday. That match is in the books. Diving for Glory Season 2, Episode 12. As always, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate anyone who takes the time to check us out. Don't forget, Diving for Glory posts every Monday and on every Thursday during Champions League weeks. This week on iTunes, YouTube, and divingforglory.com. Hit subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, at Diving for Glory. Please rate us on iTunes. And then, till next week. Actually, till later this week. Corsiola, Solomon,
Cookies.
Patch.
Diving.
What do you think of condoms?
There's nothing more to say.
Diving.
Glory.